welcome to Sunday Mornings with Twitchy Woman. And I'm so excited. We have a lot of new people today. And we have three amazing speakers talking about Parkinson's organizations, but we're actually going to be talking about 4 different organizations. So we have Larry Gifford, who will be speaking about PD Avengers and the Michael J. Fox Foundation, Polly Dawkins from the Davis Phinney Foundation, and Sarah Jones from the PMD Alliance. And one of the reasons we are doing this program is because you asked, what is the difference between all of the organizations? Who do I give to? Who do I join? And we have over a 2-week, 2 meetings, we're going to have 8 different organizations present to you that are all national or international. And that's a lot of organizations. I was telling the speakers when I was diagnosed 12 years ago, there were only about 3 or 4, and most of them were regional. Now we have so many, and we don't know, it's hard to know what the difference is between some of them. So hopefully we will be able to sort that out for all of you. So with that, let me pull up the bio. So let me tell you a little bit about our speakers. Polly Dawkins is from the Davis Phinney Foundation. She joined them in 2011 with 25 years of for-profit and nonprofit experience, including 13 years leading business-to-business engineering and international operations of a global satellite communications provider, and closer to her heart, creating a local fundraising chapter of an international literary organization. And I'm going to skip some of this, Polly, because it's too long, but she'll tell you a little bit about herself. But she, can everybody mute yourselves, please, if you're not, because we're getting a lot of background noise. She holds an MBA in International Business from the Thunderbird School of Global Management and a BA in International Studies from Earlham College. Where is that?
Richmond, Indiana.
Okay. When Polly isn't behind her desk or traveling to Parkinson's communities around the world, you'll find her creating music lists for her indoor cycling classes, exploring Colorado on her road bike, swimming laps outside, and hosting family and friends from around the world. She's powered by sunshine, though, so you might also find her lying on a rock, soaking up the sun like a lizard. Okay. Larry Gifford is going to be representing 2 organizations, PD Avengers and Michael J. Fox Foundation. He was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's in August of 2017, and a year later he launched the When Life Gives You Parkinson's podcast, which details his journey with the disease as a guy in his mid-40s with a family and a career. I can't read anymore and talk at the same time. Is that Parkinson's? He also hosts the Michael J. Fox Foundation podcast, serves on the Michael J. Fox Foundation Patient Council, and last summer he co-founded the group PD Avengers. And his partner in life in Parkinson's is his wife Rebecca, and their son Henry just turned 12, and he still works full-time as National Director, excuse me, of talk radio for Chorus Entertainment in Canada. And when you hear his voice, you will understand why he's in talk radio. Our final speaker is Sarah Jones from the PMD Alliance. And Sarah has more than 25 years of experience leading nonprofits and healthcare programs. She's an energetic, visionary leader who continually seeks opportunities to increase impact and address unmet needs. And she's worked all over the world, and she's been driven to create a world that people are excited to live in. And she will tell you how she got involved in Parkinson's. So with that, I'm going to have Polly take over, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Polly's going to talk to us about the Davis Phinney Foundation. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We are going to have time afterwards for Q&A, but if anything comes up that's relevant while she's speaking, I will ask the questions. Polly, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good morning, gals and Larry. I think we're rest of our gals here. Thanks, Sharon, for creating this opportunity for organizations to speak to your constituency about who we are and what we do and what we're driven by and what we're passionate about in our various organizations. My role at the Davis Phinney Foundation is executive director, which means I get to do a little bit of everything. But overall, I have profit and loss responsibilities, budget, running the organization, and sort of leading and managing this organization, which is a true joy of mine. It also allows me to really deeply connect with the Parkinson's community, whether it's on a bicycle or at events or online or on the phone, which is the highlight of my day. I'm going to share my screen here. Bear with me. Bear with me 1 second, folks, and then I will. And tell me when you can see my screen.
There you go.
Okay, super. So Sharon asked us to speak to 4 different topics for you all. The first of which is, who are we and where are we based, and essentially our top priorities. So the Davis Phinney Foundation was founded in 2004 in Boulder, Colorado. And with the mission since the very beginning to help people with Parkinson's live well today. Davis, some of you may know, I didn't know when I joined the organization, was a former professional cyclist and holds the title still of the winningest American cyclist in history, which means he has the most individual wins. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's at age 40 in the year 2000. And as Sharon mentioned, back then there was a huge gap in available resources for somebody who was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Davis was essentially told in 2000 to put his affairs in order and take medicines, and that was it. And he knew as an athlete that he felt better when he took care of himself as an athlete takes care of himself. So if you think about, he approached living with Parkinson's like he approached an endurance event. So he always was very mindful of his exercise, of mindfulness, of rest, of nutrition and diet, and reducing stress, and having the right team in place, the right care team, as opposed to a team that's supporting an athlete, but very similar. And really, Davis traveled around the country and at that point in his career, and saw that there were so many people who said, you know what, I'm just waiting for a cure. And there are people working on a cure and I'm just waiting. And to him, that was too passive. And he equates waiting to decline when living with Parkinson's. And he saw that he was doing quite well by taking care of himself, his whole self. And decided that he would, in fact, lend his name to an organization focused on quality of life for the Parkinson's community, since there was nothing out there as such. Today, 17 years later, we really focus on 3 main areas, or there are 3 top priorities.
Can you hold on 1 second? Somebody's speaker, I'm hearing like wind or something. Can everybody mute themselves, please? Thank you. Sorry, that helped. Okay.
Great, thanks, Sharon. So over the last 17 years, the organization has grown from producing in-person events. Some of you may have known our in-person events called the Victory Summit events, and our manual, which is many people refer to as the Parkinson's Bible, the Every Victory Counts manual. Really grown to have a plethora of digital resources, and especially in the last 3 or 4 years, our digital content has grown tremendously. We've just launched an a course, a self-paced 4-week course for newly diagnosed people. We also have our Every Victory Counts manual this summer or September timeframe. An entirely new edition and suite of printed materials will be available. The Every Victory Counts manual will be that which you know and love, or if you don't know it yet, you will. Recognize the same quality content, but it's really going to be focused on a person living with Parkinson's, and there will be additional products, care partner manual, and others. We host many webinars every month, videos. We have a podcast series. We also have printed materials. We have a blog. There are 3 to 4 blog content produced every single week here. And so that's sort of our educational resources, one main area that we focus on. And all of this is focused on helping you live well with Parkinson's, you or your care team, the people who surround you and who are helping you live well with Parkinson's. Another area that we have expanded is our work directly in communities. Our spending 12 to 14 years working in communities doing the Victory Summit series, the educational series, has taught us that where we can lend, because we are a national organization and we aren't everywhere, we can collaborate with local communities to provide expertise and connections and funding, and we created an ambassador program 7 years ago to help communities bolster the health of those individual communities. And that is a big part of our work going forward as well. Knowing that having traveled around the country and around Canada and beyond, not every single community has the same level of resources or knowledge that other communities do around how do you live well with Parkinson's. And that's where we believe we can really create a strong impact. We also do fund, and we have funded since 2004, quality of life research. So research into how someone with Parkinson's can improve their health in the near term. So our mission, helping people with Parkinson's live well today, the word today is a really important part of our mission because it's focused on not funding research that's going to be 10, 12, 15 years down the line, but it's topics that can help you in the very near term. Some of our initial research was really focused on exercise, since that was a passion of and is a passion of Davis's, where nobody, 17 years ago was looking at, can exercise actually be neuroprotective? Can exercise help a person with Parkinson's live well? And we have found through the research we funded, and then of course, all of you know by personal experience that exercise does in fact help you live well and help you feel better. Years ago, we funded a telemedicine and Parkinson's study. So there's a bunch of research, and we've just gone through our call for applications for 2021 research funding, and so we will be announcing this fall what has been funded. And I forgot to mention, we just launched a community grants program as well, which is it was a pilot program this year, which is funding local communities without any strings attached. You don't have to fundraise in your community. You don't have to do big community reports back to us. This is funding directly to communities to help them do work that they tell us they need. And then finally, Sharon asked us to highlight, this is a Women and Parkinson's group. What are we doing at the Davis Phinney Foundation on the topic of women and Parkinson's? And we have been writing on, interviewing, producing blog posts, producing support resources on the topics of women and Parkinson's, as well as young onset women and Parkinson's. So we've launched a webinar series, Young Onset Women and Parkinson's. We've interviewed many experts in this area. We've produced resources. So we have a landing page on our website if you ever wanted to go and look. There's the URL to explore what we've produced specifically for you all. And that's a growing area of content. I think my 12 minutes is up there, Sharon.
Okay.
Feel
Thank
free
you.
to reach. Yeah, I'm going to stop
So-
share. And
Okay, so I'm going to unpin you, and then let's see. So now our next speaker is going to be Larry. And Larry, so if you have any questions for Polly or Larry or Sarah, please put them in the chat. And when after they're through with their presentations, we will go to the questions and hopefully we will be able to chat a little bit. So, okay, Larry is going to speak first about Michael J. Fox Foundation. And then I got to find you so I can put you.
Here I am. Can you see
There
me
you
now?
are. Okay, there you are. Okay, great. Okay, go ahead.
Well, hello, everybody. I don't feel out of place at all at a women's group. I love seeing everybody. Thank you for inviting me. I have the honor of presenting two different groups that I'm involved with amongst many groups that I help support. The Michael J. Fox Foundation, I'm certainly not the expert to end all experts. I am on the patient council, and I have been for a couple of years now. I am the voice of their podcast. I have been the on-site moderator for the Parkinson's IQ plus U events, which started pre-COVID, have taken a break, and will be back in 2022, where they're live events that are free for people with Parkinson's and their partners to just learn more about taking care of yourself, what's the latest research and whatnot. It's like a 6-hour event. And I think we're due to go to South Florida and Houston and the Bay Area and Chicago in 2022. So keep a lookout for those dates. And then I also moderate webinars and whatnot. You'll see me pop up every now and again. The Michael J. Fox Foundation, for me and for many people, when you get diagnosed with Parkinson's, Michael J. Fox is one of the people that you think of. But the organization itself, it was founded in the year 2000 by Michael and Debbie Brooks, and their focus was really hardcore research. Like they wanted to put money towards research and make and move fast. They wanted to be very nimble. And so you'll see this if you go to the homepage of michaeljfox.org. Here until Parkinson's isn't. It's a new tagline. It's not, for a long time, people have been talking about the cure of Parkinson's, and cures are hard to do. There are not many diseases that have ever been cured. Polio has not been cured. Polio still exists. We just learned how to not get it. Same with AIDS. We know how to treat it. We know how to
See my
prevent
blood
it.
pressure cuff.
And so I
brought my blood pressure cuff out here and I don't see it.
Gail, can you mute yourself, please?
Thank you. And so here until Parkinson's isn't I think it's a step forward for the organization, because it's talking about ending Parkinson's, stopping Parkinson's, but not necessarily reversing it, which a lot of people think of with a cure. Even in the face of tremendous challenges, our promise is to push Parkinson's research forward, remain steadfast, we're problem solvers, and we're optimistic. And then if we go to the next page. Why does the Michael J. Fox Foundation exist? The Michael J. Fox Foundation is dedicated to finding a cure for Parkinson's disease through an aggressively funded research agenda and to ensuring the development of improved therapies for those living with Parkinson's today. Now, as I said, cures are very difficult. And Debbie Brooks put together this little video for you to understand how difficult it is.
Hi, I'm Debbie Brooks, the co-founder of the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. We launched in 2000 with the goal of delivering better Parkinson's drugs to patients and ultimately finding a cure. So we've had a few years to learn just how complex drug development is. Sadly, to bring one new central nervous system drug to market takes 15 to 30 years and well over $1 billion. So what does it take to get an aha moment to the drugstore shelf? Just explaining drug development is a challenge, so I often use the alphabet as an analogy to help make sense of these complicated concepts. The first part of the alphabet, say letters A to F, represents basic research. This is where a scientist, typically an academic, looks at some molecular process in our cells and asks, what's happening here? Why is it important? As taxpayers, we fund over $30 billion a year at this stage through the National Institutes of Health. This discovery science is the backbone of drug development worldwide, but aha moments alone are not enough to make a difference in human health. The next chunk of the alphabet, say letters G to P, represents translational research. Discoveries worked on for years in basic science are now examined in the context of a particular disease. This work helps us identify ideas that may actually get us closer to new medicine and enable the leap of faith from testing in a petri dish to testing in a human being. The bad news is that most ideas will fail at this stage. It's the valley of death where breakthroughs go to die. The very few therapies that do make it through the valley of death still have to navigate Q to Z, clinical research, where potential new drugs enter human testing. Clinical research is a lengthy, multi-phase process, and each phase requires years and new rounds of funding. At this stage, it's necessary to design trials, recruit volunteers, collect data from patients, analyze the findings, and finally, prep for approval from regulators before a drug can become part of a physician's arsenal. Across all diseases, the total yearly expenditure here is about $70 billion, mostly in private investment from drug companies. But even after getting as far as Q to Z, only 1 in 12 of those treatment ideas are ultimately proven safe and beneficial to patients. Between government and industry capital across that whole alphabet, we're up to $100 billion a year spent on drug discovery and development, and we have shockingly little to show for it. The Fox Foundation's total research investment to date measures in the hundreds of millions. That may sound like just a drop in the bucket given billions are required. But we believe getting results for patients isn't merely about spending more money, it's about spending the money smarter. That's why 90% of our funding goes to moving ideas into that middle part of the alphabet and beyond through the valley of death to the clinic. Our strategic investments identify and chaperone the ideas that are most likely to have an impact on human health. We provide researchers with the financial and intellectual resources they need so that they can get these results as quickly as possible. Michael J. Fox has a great way of thinking about our foundation's role when he talks about a department of cures. We'd all like to imagine an office where a high-level official sits at the center of all this work with a smart and comprehensive view of the entire field, orchestrating the efforts of all the players working on these complex problems. And then we'd like to have someone whose job it would be just to keep the whole business moving in an efficient way to assure that the best ideas are on a streamlined path towards the patients who need them. Sadly, there is no department like that. But this is the role our foundation is endeavoring to play in Parkinson's disease research. We've built a team of PhD neuroscientists paired with business-trained project leaders. Sitting at the global nexus of Parkinson's research, this team comes to work every day with one urgent goal: to prioritize research that can transform patients' lives. And in our short history, we have built the credibility and expertise to make real inroads. We understand not only science, but the business of science. And we're willing to take higher risks that can tilt the odds in favor of success. And we are seeing real progress. Today, more ideas are flowing into translation, and many of them are progressing from there to that vital Q to Z phase. Our work goes far beyond check writing. We really assess what is needed to get from A to Z, and then we bring it. I wouldn't want to leave you with the impression that any of this is easy. We must be sober about the work that needs to be done. But it'll be a great day when we find that last breakthrough. Patients have the treatments they need, and we can close our doors. Until then, we will keep at it and do whatever it takes. We're problem solvers, and we're optimistic.
All right, so that gives you an idea of the research side of things. And there, oh, let me go back one page. There's a couple things you should be aware of. The PPMI study, Parkinson's Progression Markers Initiative. It's a $100 million flagship study aimed to basically find a biomarker, some sort of test that is objective and not subjective. Like currently, we have subjective testing through the doctors where they evaluate, they do all these tests with you. We're looking for something that we can actually test, whether it's a biomarker or some other measurement that we can diagnose Parkinson's before the symptoms onset. And I've heard from Debbie and many others that we are on the precipice of a new biomarker. They're launching PPMI program part 2. They're looking for volunteers. So you should, if you're interested, it's a really intensive program, but it's helping with major breakthroughs. So if you want to be very involved in Parkinson's research, you can apply to be in the PPMI part 2 study. Fox Insight is great. Everybody should do Fox Insight because it's basically, it's just a survey that you get about every quarter on your computer. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to fill out. And it just tracks your symptoms, your progress, what's giving you the most issues. And through that survey, and they focus on different things. They'll focus on COVID, or they'll focus on women and Parkinson's. It's just a great way to participate without having to do much other than sit on your couch and fill out a form. We are working with Fox Insight, the PD Avengers, which I'll talk about later, and our Women in Parkinson's Committee is working with Fox Insight and some other groups, including the World Parkinson Congress, to do a study on women in Parkinson's, and so they're going to help us with that. Fox Trial Finder is if you register for that, it will show you trials in your area that meet your needs and interest. They're testing digital health opportunities, training the next generation of specialists, the movement disorder specialists through the Edmund J. Safra Foundation, and then they're doing key core programs for PD research through the Edmund J. Safra program. And then real quick, there's a couple other things I want you to keep in mind. Team Fox is associated with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. This is the grassroots community fundraising program. So if you see Team Fox, it's part of the Michael J. Fox Foundation. It's basically the runs and the marathons and the concerts or whatever the community is doing to help raise funds for research. They just launched the Parkinson's Buddy Network. You can go to the website, the Michael J. Fox Foundation, or parkinsonsbuddynetwork.org. It's an online network designed to connect members of the Parkinson's community, allowing them to make meaningful connections, engage in dialogue, find PD resources, and build long-lasting relationships. We just did a podcast on that, and I've been tooling around on it. It's real simple to use, lots of different forms, and I actually found somebody on there that was in one of my initial support groups. I'm like, hey, how you been? The podcast and the Third Thursday webinars, and then I told you earlier about the Parkinson's IQ plus U events beginning again in 2022. So that's an overview of the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Thank you. I think the very first Parkinson's event I went to was at Parkinson's IQ it was in Pasadena, California, and it was 5 years after I was diagnosed. 5 years I had my head in the sand. So that was my coming out. Okay, next we are going to have Sarah Jones speak about PMD Alliance, and then Larry will be back to talk about PD Avengers. So Sarah, you ready? I have to unmute you.
I am. Okay, I had to find my unmute. There you go. Yes, I'm super excited to share with you guys a little bit about PMD Alliance and who we are and kind of the unique place that we have in the Parkinson's world. And what I did is I recorded it in a video because, we all know accommodations. So I find that I get winded if I try to speak nonstop for 10 minutes or so. So I recorded it. So I'm going to play that video for you right now, and I'll share my screen and we will watch it together. Let's see. Let's hang on a second. I've got to actually stop sharing the screen because I need to make sure I do it with sound. Okay. All right, let's watch this. I'm excited Tell you a little bit about PMD Alliance and the services that we offer. So PMD Alliance is a national nonprofit. We offer services to people in all 50 states. Right now, our reach is all 50 states as well as 34 countries. And we have been in existence since 2015. We were started because we identified a gap in services and sought to fill that gap, and we've stayed laser focused on that since our inception. So my parents, my father-in-law had Parkinson's disease, and what I watched was there was a lot of information that was available out there, but it was really tricky for them to have the time, energy, and ability to just translate that information into everyday life. And that gap made the information not usable for them. And so that's what we do. We take information that exists at maybe a 30,000 foot level, and we help people translate that into their everyday lives. And we do that by focusing on an ecosystem. So, this ecosystem we built in our very beginning of the organization, and it guides us each and every day. Most organizations focus on people in the middle of the ecosystem, the person with the movement disorder. We actually focus one level out from that. So when we're building our programs, we're always building them looking at those blue areas, knowing that if we strengthen those blue areas, then obviously not only are those areas strengthened and able to be more resilient, but so is the person with the movement disorder. So, this systems based capacity building approach is really what guides all of our services and has, again, since our inception. So we have a variety of services, and again, it is based on ecosystem. You can see right here, if you go to our website in the top left corner, you'll see a purple button that says Getting Started. And if you click on that, it will let you go to these little areas here. If you click on any one of these areas, then you can find the services that are available specifically for that person in the ecosystem. And that lets you really get a good gauge in how to do this. Now, I will say that while we don't have specific services for women, part of that is because we are dedicated to not duplicating services that are already out there and duplicating programs that are already out there, like this wonderful group that's here today. What we would do instead is promote those services and help people become aware of those. One of the services that we offer is for support group leaders. We've been doing this since our inception, and we train anywhere between 500 and 700 support group leaders every year. This last year, we reached about 700. I expect that to be even more this year. And what we do is we provide education and training through in person conferences, workshops, and gatherings, as well as online. This year, we're launching a deep dive succession program. So, leaders who've been leaders for a while and need to transition it to the next person are able to do that. And we'll be launching our Support Group Leader Institute. And that institute will reach support group leaders not just across the entire 50 United States, but across the world, the 34 countries that we're currently operating in as well. We've also been offering services for care partners, family members, and loved ones of people with Parkinson's. So, for any of you, your loved ones and your family members and or adult children are welcome to join our Getting Real Online community. That community supports, again, as we talked about with the ecosystem, supports the person who's living with the movement disorder through helping to educate the care partners, family members, friends, and loved ones about how to manage and deal with the changes that are just naturally going to come as the disease progresses. We also have our NeuroLife Online program. Again, that's something that was started in our very beginning. In fact, we researched it for about a year before we started it. So we started researching it in about 2014 and launched it in 2015 when the organization started. And this program provides live stream education. So we were doing Zoom back in 2015, and actually that's how our whole organization is built. We're an organization without walls. We don't use any of our funding and resources to support brick and mortar. Instead, we use all of that funding to provide services. So our NeuroLife Online program, we offered about 250 education programs last year. This year, we're on track to offer about 200 education programs, and we do that through our 175 or so movement disorder specialists who partner with us, as well as about 100 advanced practice providers who partner with us to provide this education. We keep it on our NeuroLife Online video library. That's also on our website. You can access it anytime. You can search. There's some great programs in here for women with PD. You can search on this particular program or on this particular page, and you can find all of the things that are available specifically for a topic that you're looking at. And we have hundreds and hundreds of videos available. You can also see what programs we're offering in person as well as online by searching programs here. You can search by audience type, you can search by the kind of program you want, and they're in order of date. So you see here our online communities, things like Flying Solo. We have a specific online community for people who are living alone and or living alone with Parkinson's disease, and that's the Flying Solo group. And the Resilience Online, those are general groups. There's a variety of different groups in here. Additionally, we have a hub of resources. So one of the things I recognized also with my in-laws when I was trying to help them find support was that there was nowhere to go to get centralized information. I literally had to visit 5 different websites in order to pull all the support groups together. And that just seemed crazy to me. We need to make this as easy as possible and as streamlined as possible, and break down any barriers that we can for people having access. So we've created this hub of resources. This hub of resources, most of these live on our PD and Me app. This app is available on the App Store as well as the Google Play Store. And if you download this, you put in your zip code and it will tell you all of the support groups and exercise groups in your area and or online that are available for you right now. So when you go to our resources page on our website, this tells you a little bit about the resources that we have available. And I just want to show you what they are. We have a listing of about 8,000 exercise and wellness programs. One thing that we could definitely use volunteer assistance for is helping us keep an eye on these particular listings. And if you see something that's missing, please let us know. Also, if you see something that is needs correcting, please let us know. So the exercise and wellness program is listed by state. You can search by state and find any program that's available. Like I said, we have about 8,000 right now listed. The same thing is true for support groups. We have about 3,000 support groups listed on our website. And again, we keep these as up to date as possible. We spend about 30% of our resources keeping all of these up to date. It is definitely a monstrous task, but it is well worth it because the last thing we want is anybody to spend their time doing this, while we'd much rather have people be able to enjoy life than having to navigate multiple websites. And because of that, we will list any group's exercise program, any group support group on this website. We are happy to list it, and it will link right to their site as well as any information that they want to put about contact information. So if you know of a group that is out there that has a website, we invite any and all websites to link to this page or to this part of the website so that people don't have to search for it. It's also not something that we would want to see people have to duplicate and reinvent. Again, it takes a lot of time and effort to pull this together and keep it up to date. So the more we can do to work collaboratively as opposed to duplicating things is obviously better. We also have treatment options available on our website. So this particular section tells all of the information about all of the FDA approved treatment options for Parkinson's disease. The More You Know video series there's small video clips of movement disorder specialists or advanced practice providers talking about a treatment option in a way that they would if you were sitting across from them in the office. It's casual, but yet very informative. This is a great way to kind of get an overview of understanding the medications, why they're used, and how they're used. You can also find on our website medication treatment option lists and surgical treatment options. These again are kept up to date with every single FDA approved medication treatment option or surgical treatment option. If it's not FDA approved, we don't list it. We do have listed on here as well all of the financial assistance programs that are available. So if someone is trying to find a financial assistance for their medication and treatment, then this is something that they can go to do that. So this is also a volunteer opportunity. We will be very specific about the kind of volunteers we need for this, but we do get people who contact us regularly trying to navigate the financial assistance programs. And we are in the process of developing a pretty extensive support system for that. And so we would welcome any volunteers who might have interest in helping someone be a navigator. This will not be prescribing or recommending medication, obviously, but it will help a person navigate the financial assistance programs. We also have building your medical network. So all of the movement disorder specialists that we partner with are listed here. But of course, that's not all of them in the country. So if you click that blue click here, it will take you to the International Parkinson and Movement Disorder Society, in which case you can put in a zip code and it will tell you what movement disorder specialists are nearby. Our Certified Parkinson Disease Care Program, that program teaches and educates facilities, long-term care, assisted living, rehab facilities, and skilled nursing facilities, as well as some community-based rehab facilities, about Parkinson's disease. So this is not intended to make them experts. This is intended to make the staff as a whole understand what they're dealing with and navigating as they're working with someone with Parkinson's disease. We are growing this program. It's growing quite rapidly. It's been something we've done since our inception. We just haven't focused on it as much as we have been this particular year. And lastly, we have the Empowered Communication Tool. So at first glance, this tool might look like it is a symptoms tracker, but it is not. It is designed to be a communication tool, and there's a lot of information here about how to use it, as well as downloads and snapshot worksheets. And this tool is designed for the person with the disease to fill it out, as well as their loved ones to fill it out separately, and then utilize that as a communication starting point about what you're seeing and pull together a real picture so that when you're talking to your doctor, it can be a much more productive conversation. As I said, most of this stuff is available on PD and Me, the app again, on the App Store or the Google Play Store. If it's not there, though, all of this is available on our website, so www.pmdalliance.org. And we really hope that you get engaged and join us and sign up for our newsletters, the community. Thanks so much for listening and bearing with me for the video. I will now have breath and energy to talk and answer questions when we get to that point. So thanks for having us today and letting us share a little bit about PMD Alliance.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And we were actually, several of our women from the mentor program were featured on one of your programs. So back in January, I think. So it's been a while, but it was great.
It was wonderful. I think it was one of the most attended ones.
Really, we all need to work together. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to Larry for hat number 2. And
I forgot to add my audio, so hang on one second. Stop
Okay.
sharing. Going to reshare. We all forget that they should just make it automatic. You should click it off if you don't want it.
Yeah.
All right. So PD Avengers. This is an organization. We're the newbies on the block, and we have gotten support from PMD Alliance and from Davis Finney Foundation and from Fox and a lot of other organizations. So I really appreciate the collaborations. So thank you for that. This first video I'm going to show you was created by a group of women in Spain who started their own women's group about 6 months ago. And it has grown into the hundreds, and they've expanded beyond Spain into Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries. They have one of these videos in Spanish, and I asked them to do one in English. But this is them explaining the PD Avengers. Maybe. Here we go. Oh no! One more time. So it's just a fun little cartoon that they put together as they joined the PD Avengers as individuals and as a partner. We are a global alliance of people with Parkinson's, our partners and friends. And by friends, we mean everybody from our friends to our doctors, our therapists, our pharmacists, our colleagues, everyone and anyone standing together, demanding change in how the disease is seen and treated. We add urgency to research, wellness, and advocacy by uniting people and organizations to the cause of ending Parkinson's. I don't know if anybody read the book Ending Parkinson's Disease by Ray Dorsey and Todd Shear and Michael Oken and Boz Bloom, but that's how this organization really got started. Is we got together talking about this book sort of as a book club. Sonia Mather, who was a family physician, she's had Parkinson's for 20 some years, and Tim Hague, who won the Amazing Race Canada after he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and myself got together and began talking about the book. And we invited some other folks to talk about the book during COVID because we had nothing better to do. We were Zooming and connecting with people. So we had about 13 people for about 6 weeks. We just sort of talked about this book. And this book is a prescription for action. And we realized all we were doing was talking. So PD Avengers really came about to like, are we just going to talk about this? Or are we going to do something about it? So we sat down and thought about what we wanted it to be. And so we've had a lot of people join for a lot of different reasons. Here's Tim Hague, one of the co-founders.
Why am I a PD Avenger? I want to end Parkinson's disease. I want to stand together with the global Parkinson's community and let my voice be heard. We believe that we have been too silent for too long, that we must become a loud, uncomfortable, ever-present voice demanding change in how people view and respond to Parkinson's. Our goal is an alliance of 1 million voices standing together as one voice. Thus, I would like to invite you to become a PD Avenger. Join your voices with ours. Stand together with us, and let your voice be heard. My name is Tim Hague Sr., and I am a PD Avenger.
Here's Greg Hicks.
Hi, my name's Greg Hicks, and I want to tell you why I've decided to become a PD Avenger. I don't have Parkinson's, and unlike so many of the others in the group who I see are neurologists and have big degrees, I don't have any of those either. But I think instead of telling you why I'm a PD Avenger, I'm going to try to show you why I'm a PD Avenger.
And if I haver up, well, whatever that could mean, I'm gonna be the man who's havered in my driveway. But I would walk for 50 days, and I would walk for 50 more, just to be the man who walks 100 days, raising money for Parkinson's. When I'm walking, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who walks in my driveway. And when the money comes in for the walking I do, I'll pass every single penny on to you.
That man walking there in his driveway was Ralph Richardson. I have been his caretaker and friend since January of 2018. He has advanced Parkinson's, as well as battling Lewy body dementia. And it's for his inspiration alone that has got me involved very much to be an advocate for Parkinson's. Not just him, but for many of his friends that used to be in his Rocksteady boxing program. I've seen the passion and the determination that they all have. And I want to do my part to fight that hopefully Ralph's granddaughter will never have to see Parkinson's in this world when she grows up.
Okay, ready? All right, are we ready? Nice and loud. 1, 2, 3, let's get it!
Yeah, Ralph and Greg are great. And then I want to introduce you to Hannington Kabugo from Uganda.
My name is Hannington Kabugo. and I'm the country director of Parkinson's Sibuko Uganda. Parkinson's Sibuko Uganda means Parkinson's is not witchcraft or a curse.
Why did you choose that name?
I chose that name because people in Uganda think Parkinson's is witchcraft.
How do you know that? Have you experienced that?
Yes, I have, and this is my story of my mom. As I always tell people, they had their silly talk with my dad in their bedroom, and then he comes out and says, "Do you know what? We are going to leave this house and leave your mom in the house." So my dad said, "We are leaving, me and my two sisters and him." I was like, I told my dad, why do we leave? Why are we leaving? Like, this is our own house. Why do we leave our own house to go and rent? And then why are we leaving our sick mom in the house alone? And my mom answered, not my dad this time, said, "Because I love you so much, it's better you leave so that you're safe." And we painfully left the house for our mom, and we went away. We started renting somewhere like between 5 and 7 kilometers away from where she was. And we were cautioned never, ever to go back to that house because the house has a witch, and the witch is our mom. We left the house, and I would sneak out of our rented apartment to come and see my mom. I came, I saw my mom. She was crawling, crawling. She couldn't walk. She couldn't hold a plate. She couldn't hold a cup. Neither could she hold a spoon or a fork to eat food. And when I came, she had spent like 3 days without anything, without food or something. So there was a wall behind, like this is a wall, like this is a wall. And a bottle top, a metallic bottle top, a soda bottle top. So she got a bottle top and she was scratching a wall like this. So it had created a hole. So I asked her why she was scratching that wall. She told me she scratches the wall to get the dust. And that is the dust she was eating and the water she had in the house.
What? I'll stop that there. It goes on. As you can see, the issues that people have around the world are different. And so we do have this think global, act local mantra. And we have 3 pillars which the organization is founded upon. Wellness, we all deserve the same equity of care. Advocacy, we're stronger together. And research, patients before patents. We want to integrate more people with Parkinson's into the pipeline of being patient scientists alongside the researchers to lead to more meaningful input at every step of the research process. And we've been around actually 1 year exactly from today. This is our anniversary. We have 3,585 PD Avengers from 70 different countries with 56 different partners, including the fine organizations that you heard about today. And we're really excited to have just become an official nonprofit in Canada. We're listed as the Global Alliance to End Parkinson's Disease Association, and we have we have permission to use the PD Avengers as our business name. And we're tired of waiting around for change. It's been 200 years since Parkinson's was discovered. We discovered levodopa, carbidopa over 50 years ago. Since then, put men on the moon, eradicated polio, changed HIV from a death sentence to a chronic illness. We've mapped the human genome, discovered thousands of galaxies, and we have little to show for our efforts in Parkinson's. And it's time. And we've just seen with COVID that if the world comes together, we can make a difference. And so we are hoping to be the catalyst for that change. We don't raise money. We don't compete with these organizations in fundraising. We raise urgency. We raise we raise a ruckus. we raise awareness, and we're hoping to really collaborate with everybody to help end Parkinson's disease once and for all. And that's what the PD Avengers is all about.
Okay, thank you. This has been great. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. We have a few questions in the chat. Let's see, so one question, Larry, is for you from Eileen Menton. Why did Michael J. Fox Foundation decide to move beyond focus on research to add support for patients as in the buddy program?
Yeah, funny thing happened on the way to the research. They put together this great plan to be a huge research machine, and Michael is such a well-known figure and it draws in people that the community asked for more of the community programs. And they started raising money on their own before Team Fox even existed. And then they realized they had to create Team Fox in order to differentiate between, doing the research and the public raising money for it with really grassroots efforts. And then more recently, they've come in to realize that this is one way people expect them to help in a 360 way. You can't do research on Parkinson's without being engaged with the Parkinson's community. We are a really important part of the research process. Without us volunteering, without us raising our hands, they can't do research. You can get as many scientists as you want working on Parkinson's, but if you don't have the people with Parkinson's saying, I'll help out, then how are you going to do the research? So they really need to engage the Parkinson's community and get people excited about Parkinson's research and have the volunteers or all that, the $1 billion that they've invested into Parkinson's research in the 20 years they've been around is all for naught.
Okay, thank you. Question for Sarah. How are you getting information to living facilities about your facility staff training?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have some connections with different corporate offices, and we also receive referrals from physicians, from our movement disorder specialist partners who engage with different facilities and recommend that they connect with us. And then a lot of it also comes from word of mouth from people like you. So connect as you are in a facility, you say, hey, this is, you guys really should explore this training. What we found is that people, they really get excited about it. Our training focuses, like I said, it's not medical. So in order to be certified, 80% of the staff, and I'm talking housekeeping, the people that cook the food, everyone on the team, 80% of that team has to be trained in order for them to be certified, and they have to keep that 80% threshold up, which is a tricky piece with the turnover in that space. But it is, we've kind of worked through those glitches, and that has been really empowering for staff members. So there's a variety of different ways, and if you want to help out, get the word out, we would love your help. And you can definitely email. You can email us at info@PMD Alliance, and we will connect with you. The more help we get, the better. We're small. We're a small organization, so we rely a lot on word of mouth.
Okay, great. Another question, let's see. Can anybody speak to specific research that is in human trial? No.
Any particular kind of research or about a medication or?
Okay, Elisa, you had asked this question. Do you want to unmute yourself and answer, Sarah? Okay, she's okay.
Well, I know there's stem cell research going on right now in several countries for Parkinson's, and they're in human trials.
Mhm.
There's GDNF is being tested, or was, and it's hard to tell. I know they were on track to, then COVID hit, and so there's been some delays, but there's a couple of GDNF studies, which is glial, it stands for something, but it's basically it's part of we all have GDNF in our system, but they're implanting it to help ease the Parkinson's symptoms. They've had some success according to the patients that have been researched, but they haven't met their trial thresholds yet. So they're trying to figure out how to better deliver the system into the brain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you hear the dogs outside? I hope not.
Yeah, do they have a question?
Yeah, apparently. Question: How are your organizations helping local communities? Anybody?
I can say that, and I know Polly would want. Polly, you want to talk first because you guys are doing the community piece.
Sure. One of the ways we are helping local communities is through our ambassador program. We have 70 individuals who serve as ambassadors in the US and Canada, and providing those individuals with the tools and professional development and connections that they need to be present in their communities and helping their communities. We have a couple of folks on the call today, Lorraine Wilson, who's an ambassador for the Davis Finney Foundation. That's another way you can get involved and volunteer, is to raise your hand to become an ambassador. We're also funding community grants, so helping local communities. And then we're also pulling together in many communities throughout the US and Canada what we're referring to as community action committees. So working with local organizations, local resources, hospitals, physicians, et cetera, to come together and do grassroots community organizing work to bolster and strengthen the health of Parkinson's communities across the nation and Canada.
Okay. And I would say too, we do it through our support group leader network. So we have about 2,400 support groups in our network across the country. And so we do it through supporting our support groups. And I didn't mention that on our website also, we keep a list of all organizations, regional, local, any that we're aware of. So if you're trying to find an organization near you, a nonprofit or a Parkinson's organization near you, again, that's part of our hub of resources. If you go under resources, it has organizations. Of course, it has the national ones, but it also has local, state organizations too. So, and then through our physician partners, trying to help especially set up telemedicine with our physician partners in areas within their states that are more rural.
And I'll speak for Fox first. The Team Fox is really about the grassroots engagement with local communities, local events. So if you have a fundraiser that you want to do for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, they'll connect you with a Team Fox ambassador or supporter, and they'll walk you through the process and make sure that you know how to collect the money and how to promote it. They'll give you a web page, and they really walk you through every part of that process, which is really great. And then additionally, they also have a program where you can be part of the group that goes and speaks to Congress or congressmen, your local Congress people, about what's needed. They give you the talking points of how to do that. They give you a form and how to email them. So you can sign up for that on the michaeljfox.org website. The PD Avengers really supports all of these initiatives. We are trying to think globally. We're working with the World Health Organization on down. And what we're hoping to do is activate local communities and find out what's needed in each of the communities, like spending time with Kabugo, Hannington in Uganda. I'm learning more about what they need and how can I help them and who can I connect them with and who can, so we're more of a connector organization, a supporter organization, but we need boots on the ground. We need people that are there who can tell us what's going on. We don't want to dictate what every community needs. And so what we're hoping to do is empower local community members into doing great advocacy work on behalf of their local communities.
Okay. I'm going to take one last question here about how are you addressing disparities in treatment? Anybody? We're all dealing with that, I know.
Yeah, the inequities of treatment, of information, of resources, of diagnosis, of doctors, it's running rampant around the world. And I'll tell you, the one thing the PD Avengers is already working on with our 50 organizations is, and we meet every other month with leaders of Parkinson's organizations from around the world. Polly's been in those meetings. We're looking towards World Parkinson Day 2022 already. And it looks like we're going to be talking about stigma and shame as part of that. And part of that is not knowing, that Parkinson's is witchcraft. And part of that is not being able to reach out and ask for what is an MDS versus a neurologist, and how do I get access to medication, and is there a difference between taking Cinemet or taking just levodopa? Like all these different, what's available in Canada versus the US versus Africa versus Europe, and how do we all get treated equally and equitably? And so that's top of mind for us. We have a lot of different committees that are focused in that area for the PD Avengers for sure.
Okay.
Sarah, I'm building a community network right now. So our online communities are not, they're not the typing online communities. Our online communities are our word for what would be like this group, what we might think of as a support group, but it's really, self-led. It's not a professional MSW that's leading it. It's a community group. And so we're in the process of building out a variety of community groups based on people who've just contacted us. So we've got an LGBT one in the process. We have one for Black people with Parkinson's in the process. We're working on one for Native American population. So there's a variety of different groups. Again, we really want to make sure we're not duplicating what's out there, but they would be utilizing our Zoom platform that we give permission to, obviously, and it's really a self-led group of just people with it's like an affinity group. So that's what we're really, that's where we're focused right now.
And the Davis Finney Foundation, talking about health disparities, health inequities, about a little over a year ago, launched a health disparities webinar series, and also an advisory board to the foundation. Idea, inclusion, diversity, equity, access advisory board to the foundation. Our health disparities webinar series has covered topics like intersectionality, LGBTQ topics, systemic racism, the urban and rural divide, so topics like that. So about once every other month, we bring in experts to speak on those topics, and you can find all of those recordings on our website as well. I'll put a link in the chat here. The big topic, and our community funding is also looking at this topic, as well as our research funding this year.
Okay. There's no more questions at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show my last few slides, and then I'm going to everybody can unmute and engage in conversation with our speakers. Let me go back to my slides. Let's see. So I want to thank all of our wonderful speakers, Larry, Polly, and Sarah. We usually give a virtual tiara. Larry, you get a crown.
I could do a tiara.
Unless you want the tiara.
I love the tiara.
I think that would look really good on him.
No, we got him a really nice red crown. Crown with red velvet and jewels. Okay. So thank you. I think this, looking at the chats, people are really enjoying this, and it's doing what we hoped it would do, and that's to explain in 10 to 12 minutes what each organization does and why you're different. And I think that really is a major issue for a lot of people, because they just don't know who to turn to. There's too many now. Unlike when I was diagnosed and I said there was nothing, now there's way too many. And who do you trust? Who do you go to? Okay, next slide. So our next program is in 2 weeks, and that is that's our first slide. Wait a minute, what happened here? Let's see. Okay, here we go. So in 2 weeks, we're going to have part 2. We're going to have representatives from the American Parkinson's Disease Association, the European Parkinson's Disease Association, Brian Grant Foundation, and the Parkinson's Foundation. And that will be the end of this series unless other organizations come forward and say they want to be part of it. Those are the ones that I know of. And who doesn't need a t-shirt? Okay, here's mine. I've been seeing them posted on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, ladies, for wearing them out there. We're going to be running another fundraiser soon, and we will have t-shirts and zip-up hoodies this time because being a person with Parkinson's, I should have realized that pullover was not an ideal situation. But we're going to get zip-ups this time and more tank tops. And if there's anything else that you are interested in, coffee mugs, whatever, let me know because we can order all kinds of things. And the great thing is the company that makes all these shirts is everything is made in the United States. Yay. And I want to thank everybody for being part of this. I'm going to just a couple more real quick announcements. Starting in August, we're going to be meeting once a month. We're going to see how it goes, but we're going to have some in-between sessions which will be just like chat rooms that will be facilitated by different members of our group. And we're going to see how things go. When I don't have the speaker for August nailed down yet, you will get the information very soon. And I will stop this recording in a second, but I will share it with everybody tomorrow, hopefully. And any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask any of our speakers, whatever questions you have.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me about the WHO committee, and the World Health Organization came together this past spring with a small group of folks from around the world, leading experts in Parkinson's and me for some reason. So I'm like the C student of the group, but I was the only person there with Parkinson's. And there was 30 of us in total talking about how do we address the global pandemic of Parkinson's and the expected growth of the people that are going to be diagnosed with Parkinson's in the coming decades. And it's going to be an ongoing committee, but what we're doing is we're creating global guidelines for the UN member states on how they need to address Parkinson's in their communities and in their nations. Because right now, the last time we updated those guidelines was, I think, the early 1990 was when they last took a look at it, and before then they never took a look at it. So this is the second time ever the World Health Organization has addressed Parkinson's. They did not even acknowledge World Parkinson's Awareness Day last year or any year. So they helped start it 20 some years ago. So we're going to work with them to have an online campaign this in 2022. And we're actually going to get them to change their search function so Parkinson's comes up when you actually search the World Health Organization website, that it actually exists. Just little things to make that a good start.
Okay, I'm going to change our view so everybody can see everybody now, since we're a smaller group. Go ahead. Somebody was starting to say something. No?
Oh, sorry, that was me. Hilarious, John Hogan.
Hey, John, what are you doing at a women's group?
Well, I live with 3 women, so you know.
Okay.
and they taught me I had to stand up. Or sorry, to sit. Anyway, quick question: does WHO buy into the buy into this concept that the pandemic concept?
Well, I don't know that all 4 authors bought into the pandemic concept, but what I will tell you is everybody believes that in the next 20 years, the number of people with Parkinson's is going to double in this country or in this world, which means if the average age of onset is 72, and let's just say there's 6 to 10 million people currently with Parkinson's in the world, that means another 6 to 10 million will be diagnosed. And my math is correct. 19, 20 years from now, those people are already alive. They just don't know they have Parkinson's.
Yeah.